What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more early hardcore from my good friend Roberto, aka Formek, and this comes from an incredible EP he put out in late 2025 on the legendary Cenobite label. The EP is called Obsession, and the title track is on here, but we're going to start with the A1 tune, which is Hit the Crowd. I do also have to draw attention to the incredible artwork, wicked, dark, biomechanical. And two things to say about that. One, I'm going to guess this was done by the Twins Artcore. I know he does a lot of the artwork for the releases on Cenobite, not only his own under the name Danny Tribe, which is the name he uses for the Cenobite releases, but also Formek and some others. I think on the Overdrive label, he did a lot of artwork as well, and the Twins records, of course. Anyway, the point is, not only is it really, really compelling, but as someone who has long played the Mass Effect series, it really does look like a Banshee from, I know, the third Mass Effect, maybe the second one too, but yes, it looks like an indoctrinated and biomechanically enhanced, or indeed infected, Asari. So yes, I wonder if that was an inspiration, but it's certainly hard not to notice that. But I just love the wicked, dark, biomechanical vibes. And in that regard, let us start the Obsession EP, and I mentioned to Roberto that I'd be reacting to the tunes from it. So yeah, we're going to start with, as I said, Hit the Crowd, which might be my favorite on the record. I like all four of the tunes, and they all offer something a bit different, which of course I very much enjoy. And even like the kick drum and bass line pattern or combination is a bit different in each tune. I would say this one, Hit the Crowd, and the title track, Obsession, are the most like classic early hardcore in the kick drum and bass line sonics, but the other two are fantastic as well. So yeah, this one features acid work, it features a lot of drama, very fast, like cut up hardcore synth work, which is another one of my favorite aspects of the early hardcore sound in general, and Formek's tunes particularly. So let's hear it. This is Formek, Hit the Crowd, from his 2025 release Obsession on Cenobite, yes. Thought I put it on the wrong track. And I didn't. I put it on the right track, the wrong tempo. Okay. I think we're good to go.
Hit the crowd up. Hit the crowd. Hit the crowd up. Hit the crowd, hit the crowd, hit the crowd up, hit the crowd, up, and scorch you off like old power. together more iller than MacGyver.
It's such a tune. Like I said, it probably is my favorite on this EP, though all four are like A plus level, so it's, you know, the first among equals, maybe I'll say. But it really emphasizes or demonstrates the absolute class of Formek's productions, the kick drum heavy and pounding, the bass line deep and pulsing and, you know, rhythmic and frenetic at the same time, the synth work very tense and frantic and energetic, the acid work like shrieking, chirping, pulsing, it just all comes together so very well. I love the sample. I don't know, it sounds like it's from a hip-hop track. I love that line, which I think references MacGyver. I'm not sure if I'm hearing that right, but I do think it references MacGyver, which, you know, I didn't watch that show all the time, but definitely I remember that show when I was younger. And yeah, ultimately, again, I've mentioned before, hardcore tracks that either sample hip-hop or reggae, sometimes like both, sometimes it's kind of like a reggae flow that's, you know, kind of like hip-hop bars, but with a bit of a, like, you know, Jamaican flavor. I really do love that stuff, and it reminds me of the hardcore that, like, turned my ear and brain toward it back in the 90s when I was first going to parties and, you know, discovering different genres and so on. So yeah, it's early hardcore at its absolute best. As I said, we'll listen to the other three tracks on here. I think next time I might do Obsession, the title track. There's two others, Place on Fire and Supervise and Punish. So yeah, the whole like theme, obsession, I think comes across in the title, just being like hyper-focused to the point of, you know, intensity, and that can, you know, manifest in some different ways. So yeah, I think it's a really cool EP. Looking forward to talking about it more. Big shout out to you, Formek. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.